Towards the end, I thought to have Gloria have her top arm on her head, and we tried a position like that, behind, with her hand behind her head, coming over the top. And we also tried the position with the hand under the bottom ear, and that wasn't easy, although with the arm in the with the forearm in the standing position, she was able to lift her head easily. But with the arm, I suspect there was something about the shoulder that I could have done, but that became a mystery.
And this was with Gloria?
Yes.
Do you want to lie on your tummy, Gloria? Because there's some really good questions embedded in there. Helen? And bringing your leg up.
It was towards the end, once you
were so bringing your leg up, Gloria.
And yes, and then with your forearm perpendicular, and your head was around further closer to your knee, or your head and your knee were closer together. And I think perhaps Gloria was more over her bottom hip. And certainly after that process, she was, you had your head and your knee a bit closer together. I think you maybe remember that process, maybe not so now, but then you found it quite easy. You did lift your head easily. No, with your forearm still in the standing position, you were able, and you could also look under yourself a bit, I think. But
as soon as you took her hand away, things weren't as easy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and I had
tried
some work on Gloria's shoulder.
Yeah. So let me clarify that a little bit for you.
Asking it to become ready to move. And trying to
so
a little bit of
just hang on, Helen. Just feel when you go in and do that, her arm's heavy.
Yes,
so it's not actually ready to lift. So at the moment, all that's really saying is that at the moment, Gloria needs this hand on the ground to try and lighten here. She hasn't yet got to the state where she can completely lighten this arm.
No. Well, after that process, she was able, before she did this, she was able to lift her head and lift.
With this hand, though.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, because she could still weight bear on this hand that let all of that get light, but she needed still this hand.
And she had been able to stay. She had been able to stay in the position more over the underneath hip.
So where I'm going to clarify this with a lot of you
so that she was
this is not over her underneath hip. Her hip's off the ground.
Yes, that's right. But I had sort of, I had pulled her.
I'm not disputing that, and you'll see this as we go on with some Larry videos we're going to do. Remember I was doing this the other day with Chelsea, until they know how to weight bear through that hip, it's not going to be easy to lighten it. Because at the moment, Gloria she's not really on her pelvis at all. So she needs this. She can't give this up. So you could feel you could lift your pelvis a little, yeah? No, there's no way. But she's still weight bearing through here. So that's why she's not yet ready to lift that arm, because she can't redistribute the weight. So she can get a pelvis light by getting through there, but she can't yet come back the other way. No? If I got her into a position, and I don't know if I can, where I'm going to weight bear through that hip for her. Now lift your arm, Gloria. A bit lighter. Huh? Again, it's these two areas. This can't lighten.
Is it also something, I get a sense that it's also something to do with that shoulder, that if you can get over that shoulder.
But you only can get over that shoulder if I give you ground here. You won't get it on the top of your pelvis.
Right.
So if you try it now, you go, oh, this shoulder's stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be over there.
And once you know how to get it there, then I can take her off it, but I'm not letting her drop. I'm keeping all the control. Now lift up. And she can still do it, even though she's not. Because I've activated the anti-gravity response there. No? How to shift weight, how to get things light. With this lesson, that's what I'm thinking. How do I let them keep shifting weight? How do I find all these different ways that they can get light? So you were spot on, Helen. It's just that she still needed that hand to weight bear on. She couldn't lighten this because she couldn't shift the weight somewhere else. And how you feel that is exactly what you were doing. You went in here and you went, okay, there it is, but it's not light. If I lift this, I've just held my breath. Huh? So it's not light. But if I go, okay, bell hand, what could happen through her hand? Where could it weight bear? And I'm asking a question. Where could she, okay, that's a better position. Is that going to, no, that doesn't transfer her weight though. We're not in the ballpark yet. Huh? Maybe I have to do something through here to show her that arm can become light. So again, it's keeping sort of that big picture that you're looking at. Huh? And I've said to quite a few of you, so, you know, when I'm working, I just would never do that. Because I can feel that I had to hold my breath to do that. Maybe only a little bit, but I still hold my breath. So she's in her pattern. Yeah? So when I'm with someone, it's always, how can you get, where does it get light? Where does it get light? Oh, there you go. And your shoulder's not a problem because you've got somewhere else to shift your weight to. And this is, you know, this is what so many of these lessons we're doing at the moment are about in ATM. How do you keep redistributing your weight to get your arm light, to get your head light, to gradually keep doing it? Huh? And that's where, you know, what I've noticed about you as a group is you're really good at giving each other feedback. So, you know, when I do that, one of the things I could be asking, can you tell me as soon as I make you hold your breath, Gloria? Because I might not pick it up, but could you let me know when you feel there's a bit of an effort in there? Does that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because, you know, this is a really constraining position. This asks for a lot of being able to really explore and having the big picture. And that's why, you know, you're not going to do this lesson for someone who's really heavy and uncomfortable on their belly. And that's where we keep getting stuck here, as I've said before, because you're being asked to do lessons in positions that, you know, we may not choose to give you a lesson in. But you can still come back and go, okay, so this is about how can I get more comfort? What do I understand that gives me more comfort? No. If I went around and I could find no lightness in their system, or if someone said, you know, oh, what's your comfortable, I hate sleeping on my belly, I'm probably not going to choose it, am I?
If you really did want to work with the person in prone like that, and they were, could you try what we did the other day, which is putting a roller down the
Absolutely.
middle of them, and that might help give them
Absolutely.
a little bit.
You know, and I'm going to check, does this give them enough give? You know, Alison came up the other day and asked a great question is, when do you use a lot of padding? Do you know what I mean? Or when it facilitates the learning. But if I had someone that I had to put padding everywhere, I just wouldn't be working in that position. Just wouldn't be working there. Why would I make it that difficult for them?
And presumably, I mean, a roller is quite firm, but if you put a lot of, you might need to be careful about the softness and the firmness, because if it's too soft, presumably
depends
no
what you're
feedback,
after.
I guess.
Yeah? So when we start working Larry tomorrow, when we start looking at Larry, we're working with rollers, and we're sort of thinking, what would you use a hard roller for? What would you use a soft roller for? What are you after with the rollers? But generally, if I had to get someone in a position where I had to have padding everywhere, it's like, this isn't the position for them. Not only is it difficult for me, but it's difficult for them. And I think as learners, if we go back to me as a learner, me as a teacher, you know you learn more when you've got more possibilities. So the more you try and work with a person who's stuck, you're really making it difficult for yourself. Because what you're trying to do is hone your skills. You're trying to get everything to be easy so I can begin to feel those differences. You know, I can feel when they can shift their weight. I can feel when I've got them. And what are the things I'm going to look for that let me know that I'm in the ballpark? Never believe them, though. Never believe that the position they get into is their most comfortable position. It's their most familiar position, and I'd start there, and then I'd go start checking, you know, is this actually a comfortable position for you?
If they wanted to be able to go on their front, but found it uncomfortable, could you start them on their side and do it in a reversed kind of way?
Absolutely. You know, you could start them on their side with their arm and leg up and go toward their belly. Again, it's going to come back to the question of, what's this lesson about? Why would I use this position and this lesson? When would it be valuable for someone? When wouldn't it be?
Would that be about helping them find support to lower their weight rather than lift it?
It's a very developmental movement, this one. Do you know what I mean? As soon as possible in a baby's development, we want their head to lift on their stomach. So this is going back to really, really basic organisation, to begin to organise those extensors to get light. Yeah? And that they're not fighting.
So would that not be the case if you were doing it in reverse?
So if I started on their thing and I was taking them toward their belly, what would I be looking for? It'd be the same thing. Can their weight shift? I'm still looking at the same thing. Can I keep redistributing their weight? Are they in the movement? Where would I expect their shoulder to go? Where would I expect their leg to go? Have they got connection between their hips, connection between their shoulders? And, you know, once, just go down for a minute, Gloria, because I was talking to someone. So it was really lovely because, see, we were talking the other day about the stick between here and here. Once I've got that stick, then I can be interested in, can I send it down to the opposite hip? Yeah? So I've got a connection up the top, which is my homologous or up-down organisation. So now I'm going to start looking for, how do I send it through the torso, through to the pelvis? So we're connecting the whole person together. Sorry? It's Gloria and I together. So there she is. That's light. So I just send it through to her pelvis. She understands that. You know, if she was still really extended there, would it get through? If there's too much work going on here, no, probably not. So I've still got to get more length and more weight shift there. Maybe I want to bring bring the leg up higher, which is what Helen found, that if I get this longer, there's more likelihood that this can get to the ground. This can give up more of its work. But we're going to be exploring this a lot in your ATM coming up. So, okay. Any other questions? Yes. Do you want to say what happened first, Mia?
Yeah, I was shaking a bit during that last FI practice. That never happened to me before, so I just wanted to know what was going on.
So have other people had that experience, either in FI or ATM?
No, I was on the table.
She was on the table? Yeah? Anyone else had that experience? Yeah. It's pretty common. It's really common, actually. To me, and I can't tell you what it is, but to me it's the autonomic nervous system going, oh, I'm not quite, this is pretty new. Never worry about it. I would always be there and say, because usually, even though the person's shaking, they can breathe easily. So often the anxiety will come in for them because this is something that they haven't experienced before. Yeah. And it's usually about something pretty profound changing in their middle, giving up something that they've been maybe holding for quite a long time. Yeah. So you always at that stage just give them ground, ground, ground. And it's more you being able to tolerate, which I can do really easily because it's happened so many times, but it's fine. There's nothing amiss. Their system's simply recalibrating a little bit. And if you can say to them, your breathing's easy. Yeah? And I said to Mia, can you lift your head? And her head was still really light. So they're really important things because what are the criteria we keep coming back to tell us that everything's okay? But I think most of it's just calming. And then, as I said, it's usually, I would say, I've done a little bit too much. I might not have felt I was doing too much, but I'll come back and consolidate more of what I've done. So, which means I'm going to include more of them in the picture.
I felt before that I needed to be more comfortable. I wasn't comfortable, so I needed that person to put me in a more comfortable position. But I think I was hanging out too long in that discomfort.
Do you mean comfortable or habitual? No, comfortable.
No, comfortable.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, giving each other feedback
Yeah.
is really, really important. But you'll often find when you've done it, you've sort of got a bit into one part of them and not included the big picture. But it's really good to feel, for those of you who felt it, because you know it's fine. It's just your system doing a little... to me, the way I describe it often is, and I think animals do it much better than we do, when they've had a shock and they shiver. That's what it is. It's like a shiver is through them. You know, so often I'll put a blanket on them as well at that point. Yeah, but think of it like that. And the good thing about animals is animals don't try and stop the shiver. They let it keep shaking them. Whereas when we get into anxiety, we often do the opposite, which is try and stop the shivering, and that's when people get more into trouble. So often I'll be saying, as I'm giving them grant, it's fine, just let it shiver. Let it shiver. So it's like anything. If we let it keep moving, do you know what I mean? If we just let... and we don't try and constrain it or control it because we're anxious about it. Yeah. Okay.
I was touching another person. I was practicing, and he began to shake. And he told me, I wanted to cry. So, and I don't want to cry in front of you. So I wasn't doing really nothing. I just hold his head and one hand here. I wasn't doing things.
Believe me, you were doing things.
Yeah. But I wasn't, the movement was coming from him, because I wasn't doing a proper FI. It was like an ATM with some hands. So he needed to stop because he felt ashamed to cry. So now, okay, we don't need to go on, but what is stopped? It's the shame or the I don't want to go further.
You know,
right?
I think you really need to, you know, if you thought about what you were doing and you were helping him, but was all of him in the movement as you were doing it? Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is, my God, I can't tell you how many tissues get used in my room. And again, to normalise it. Do you know what I mean? How do we go, do you need a tissue? Really, it's better at the moment if you just let yourself cry. So that we're trying to get them that idea. Of course, if someone's got major things, I'm not going to suggest that at all. You know, a major issue, problem, you know. But then I would have wanted to know more. You know, I would want to be interested in asking more questions.
He wanted to know.
So change their position. Let him change his position at that point. Yeah. Because you've got him on his back, which is probably his most exposed position. So maybe at that point, let him roll onto his side. Maybe that'll help to calm him down. But I think the big thing is and we have to feel comfortable enough to hold that. You know, to say it's okay. Have a tissue. And, you know, often what people are crying about in FI is there's no reason. They're not going, oh, this is because this happened to me when I was... Yeah. There's a few people who do that who have had a lot of psychotherapy will absolutely do that. But that's fine too. That's just their pattern. But I think it's just a movement. Emotions are a movement. And where we have problems with emotions is when we get stuck or we don't have reversibility. Okay, change over. We've got half an hour. Mhm.